Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's recipe is coconut bake and boujole, also known as pot bake. And boujole is a salt cod salad, really fresh, really light, with saltfish, sweet peppers, onions, a little bit of lime juice, olive oil. So here we go. We're going to start by making our pot bake. Our ingredients are fresh coconut. We've got some flour, some butter, some sugar, baking powder, a little bit of salt and a little bit of yeast. That is it. So to start with, we're going to add some sugar to the bowl, followed by some, and then the coconut milk, bring it up to the boil and then leave it to cool. Then we're going to add the coconut milk that we prepared, give that a whisk and then set it aside so that the yeast can activate. Whilst the yeast is activating, we're going to prepare the dry ingredients. So to start with, I have some flour here, and we're going to add some salt, some baking powder, and then just mix that together till everything is evenly incorporated. Then we're going to add some butter. You just want to rub that into the flour till it forms like loose breadcrumbs. Once there's no big lumps, then we're good. Now we want to prepare our coconut. So firstly, just tap it across the center until it starts to crack. Once it's cracked, drain the coconut water and set that aside. Then you want to open the coconut to reveal the flesh. And just cut that out gently with a knife. Now we just want to grate this flesh because that's one of the main components of the coconut bake. Next, we're just going to add this grated coconut to the flour and butter mix and then just fold it in so that's evenly incorporated. So our yeast mix has risen nicely. As you can see, it's bubbling. So we're going to just add that to our dry mix of coconut, flour and butter. Then just bring that together, giving it a mix to start with, and then once the dough starts to form, you can give it a light knead. Once you've got a nice round soft dough, we're gonna set this aside and cover it, leaving it to prove for about an hour in a warm place. Whilst our coconut bake is proving, we can start to prepare the saltfish. To start with our ingredients, we have some salt cod here. We also have some spring onion, red onion and sweet peppers, some garlic, scotch bonnet, coriander or shadon if you can get that where you live, and some fresh tomatoes, which is basically cooked salt cod with sweet peppers. So to start with, we want to place our water in the pan to boil. Then we're going to add our saltfish to the pan. We just want to cook the saltfish until it's tender. That should take about 15 minutes. If your saltfish is really salty, then you can discard this water and repeat. Once the saltfish is cooked, you can drain it, then rinse it off in some cold water. And then we want to place it in a bowl and just flake it up into pieces with our hands, not too small, because when you mix it up with the other ingredients, it will break up itself. Next, we want to prepare all the other ingredients. So I'm just going to dice my onions here. Then we're going to add some oil to a pan and add the red onions and let them start to saute on a low heat. Then we're going to dice our green peppers, our red pepper, add those to the onions in the pan. So just give everything a stir and just let it cook lightly. You don't want these to be super soft. Next, we want to dice our scotch bonnet and garlic. Add those to the pan. You want the vegetables to retain their texture and have a little crunch to them. So we just want to add these straight to the bowl with our saltfish, then just give that a mix through. Final few ingredients, we want to dice our tomatoes and then add those to the bowl. Our spring onions. Roughly chop your coriander. It doesn't have to be neat. Abstract is absolutely fine. Then we want to squeeze on some fresh lime juice straight into the bowl and finally some extra virgin olive oil. Give that a mix together, and that is basically the boujole done. The olive oil with the lime juice creates its own dressing with all of the other flavors from our fresh ingredients. So now that the boujole is done, we can go back and see if our baked dough is ready. After an hour, it should have doubled like this, and then it's ready to bake. Firstly, just knock it back, and then you can turn out the dough onto your surface. Dust it with a little bit of flour, and then cut it into two. Take each piece and just form it into a slightly rounder shape, because that's the basic shape of a coconut bake. I'm going to put a bit of vegetable oil on my pan, grease that, and place both of the bakes onto the sheet. You just want to press it with a fork, so this just allows any air to come out when it's baking. Lastly, we want to prove it again for about 30 more minutes before it's ready to go in the oven. That last proving time just allows them to get a little bigger before we bake them. Then you can place them in the oven for about an hour on 150 degrees or until they're golden brown all over. And here we have them. These are our lovely coconut bake. You can see they're nice and round and just golden all over. And this is what it looks like when it's freshly baked. So I'm just going to serve this with the coconut bake, a little avocado on the side. So there we go guys, that's my recipe for saltfish boujole salad with coconut bake and avocado. Until the next time, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you try this one as well. Peace and love.